Are you struggling with not having enough time to do your YouTube videos? Do you feel like you're overwhelmed and you just can't get it all done? Well, in today's video, myself and Melissa Caputo from the Think Media team are going to be walking you through three of our time management apps that we love and 3 tips for time management. But Melissa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Heather. I'm so excited to learn these tips. They are things that I need in my everyday life. And I'm excited to hear, again, the things that you're asking me to do every day because it's just good to reinforce. So this is going to be good.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Let's just go ahead and jump into it today, Mel. We're going to be covering the 3 free time management apps and tips that will make you so much more productive. And then after that, we're going to do a Q&A. So you can jump in with any of your questions that you have, and we will get to those. But first, if you want to follow on social media or you want to share this stream with someone, you can follow me over at Miss Heather Torres and use the hashtag Think Marketing. This is the Think Marketing show, the Think Marketing YouTube channel. And so you can use that hashtag anytime you are sharing the things here. But one of the questions that I get a lot is, how do you keep this going? And when I mean, how do you keep this going? For me, that looks like this. So my current role right now is the Chief Operations Officer of Think Media. That is a company where we have a YouTube channel of over 1 million subscribers. We're a multi 7-figure company, and we run a team of about 10 people here in Las Vegas and around the country. And beyond just that, how do I keep that going? I'm the host of this Think Marketing podcast. Along with that, I'm a wife and a mother, and I also homeschool my 3 kids. Yeah, so you probably think she is crazy, but how does she get it all done? Well, today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 of those tips of how I do that. And let me ask you this question and tell me in the chat if you know, if you can answer this question. Do you relate to this? Do you feel overwhelmed, burnt out, or just plain tired when it comes to doing YouTube? I know for me, it is something I have felt before, and so I'm excited to share. So let me know in the chat if you felt that way by giving me a number 1 in the chat if you felt like that, number 2 in the chat if you have not. So let me know. And then also, can you relate to feeling like not having enough time? I think for me, that is a huge deal in what that looks like. And I want to share this quote with you. The quote with you is, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. This is from a book that I read that I really love. And I think that it was a really great eye-opening for me, because I always just recognize time as something that we all have, that we can all use. And so let's see, this is a really great thing to think about. Everyone has 24 hours in their day. It's what you do with those hours that makes a difference. Everyone has 24 hours in a day, and it's what you do with that that makes a difference. So this quote here is really great. I want you to write this one down. You have to say no to a lot of good things in order to be able to say yes to great things. You have to say no to a lot of good things in order to say yes to a lot of great things. And for me personally, being a homeschooling mom who works full time, this is one practice that I had to learn that changed my life. And that lesson is time management. And so today we're going to be sharing 3 of our time management apps that Melissa and I use, that we love, and that are free, because I love FREE. Free is my favorite. And the first one is Google Calendar. Let me know in the chat, do you use Google Calendar? I love Google Calendar for so many reasons, but the main reason is because it is a digital calendar that not only you can have access to, but that you can share with other people in your life. I think it's really important that the people in your life know what's going on. And I love that you can color code. Hello, any other color coders out there? You can let me know in the chat. The color coding is amazing. And I love that Google Calendar is a desktop and an app. So you can use it on your iPhone, or you can use it on your desktop, PC, Mac. It goes for everything. It's a browser-based software. And I love Google Calendar. The second free app that we use for time management here at Think Media and in my life is Trello. Trello is a project management software. This is free. They do have paid versions, but I love the free version. And I think it's really important that you think about what are you planning? What are the projects that are in your life? This can be for work and for personal things. And do you remember when we were young and we used to put sticky notes everywhere? Well, I still do that, but now it's digitalized and I do that through Trello. So projects can be planned through Trello by making them organized into what category you would like. You can shift the cards around. There's so much functionality when it comes to Trello. Let me know in the chat, have you used Trello? And if you haven't, are you going to download it? And then the third app that I love, it's a free app. It's called Rescue Time. Now, you do have a feature on an iPhone, if you do have a newer iPhone, where it can do some time tracking for you. But here's what I love about Rescue Time. Rescue Time is a software where it tells you how many times have you gone on your phone or your web browsers? What type of content are you searching or being on online? It gives you an actual update so you can see how much time are you spending on social media apps, reading news, doing things that are productive and doing things that are unproductive. Rescue Time has been a really great app for me to actually be clued into. I think sometimes you have to recognize, what am I actually doing with my time, especially when you are around devices all day? What are you doing with the phone and with the computer? And this is a really great app to help you with that. I love that it tracks per hour, and then it'll also give you updates. It'll be like, heads up, you're doing a lot of work outside of your normal working hours. So you can set up certain reminders so that this app can help you track your time more. Well, those are 3 of our apps that we love here at Think Media. I would love to know in the comments if you use those apps. And let's move on to our time management tips. Our time management tips. Well, here at Think Marketing and at Think Media, we have a quote that we say, what gets scheduled gets done. It is so important to remember that what you put on your calendar is actually what gets done. Let me know if you can relate to this. I have this lofty goal of organizing my closet. I really want to be able to organize my closet, but it just keeps getting pushed over to another day, to another day, to another weekend, to another weekend. And for me, I can tell you the reason for that is because I've not planned out the project. It seems really daunting. I've got to go through all my spring clothes. I've got to, organize all the shoes. I want to redo the drawers, and I haven't actually planned out the project. I haven't even thought about when is it actually going to get done. And so here at Think Media, we say what gets scheduled gets done. So this is a big part of my life. It's called calendar blocking. Here's a time management tip for you. Start calendar blocking. Now, calendar blocking is a time management method that schedules your day into set controlled units. Set controlled units. Rather than having a bunch of things on your calendar, you actually start to block your calendar off. And here's a preview of what my calendar looks like. I do things like my family time, which right currently is in purple. I have my IPAs, which are my income producing activities. Those happen in yellow. I have my red, which is my homeschooling time with my kids. My husband and I switch off on that. I have I have blue, which is working on my own side hustle and projects that I love to do. And then I have admin and other things scheduled on there. But you'll see, I like to work within the time blocks because it helps me to stay focused. And here are some benefits of time blocking. Time blocking helps you to recognize your priorities. When you fill up your calendar first with the things that are important and prioritized for you, you'll start to see movement not only in your business, but in your life. I love that it helps you consider how long to spend on different tasks. You have to think about it before you actually jump into it. Is this going to take me an hour to edit this video? Or do you think it's going to take you 5 hours to edit the video? Well, that's going to change what you put on your time block. It also helps you to schedule according to your own working preferences. Now, one of the things I love about being a freedom, working in a business that is around our lifestyle and freedom, is that we can work when we want, from where we want, with the people that matter most to us. We can be around those people when it matters most. We're not locked into 9 to 5. Now, that might not be the same for you, but you could be working towards when is the best time for you to be shooting your videos. When is the best time for you to be editing your videos? Really thinking through, do you like working on a Saturday? Do you not like working on a Saturday? Those are all things that you can actually start to prioritize when you're doing your calendar blocking. All right. Another time management tip for you is to plan your projects from start to finish. All right. Let me know in the chat if you're getting value out of this. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Let me know in the chat if you are loving this today. Plan out your projects from start to finish. I love this quote by Paul Meyer. He says, productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, and focused effort. I want you to be planning your projects from start to finish. That's what's great about using calendar blocking like Trello and using calendar blocking like Google Calendar and using project management softwares like Trello. You're able to plan from start to finish. What is this process going to look like? What am I going to need to do to accomplish this goal? It's very important that you break down your projects into bite-sized pieces so you can finalize them through the project management software. All right, so let's move on. And the last tip that I love is to shut out distractions. Now, the actual app that I showed you was the Rescue Timer app. I love, and it actually helps me to really refocus about what distractions are around me. It's hard sometimes when you've got kids running around or you're trying to edit that video, or you really just you need to get those titles and descriptions done. It can be so hard because you want to jump on social media, you want to join the conversations, you want to be everywhere or have the notifications going off. So one of the key pieces for me is actually eliminating the distractions. I've shut off all notifications on my phone. Sometimes I'll put it in airplane mode. I'll close all the tabs on my computer. I don't have the notifications coming on because I want to be well focused on the work that I am doing. This is important. Focused, hard work is the real key to success. Jumping around from project to project and from task to task is really hard to get things moving forward. It's when you can be focused. It's when you can work hard and be within the time blocks that matter most to you that can move you forward. Well, I am excited to share with you some of our Think Marketing resources. We have 3 books right now that we recommend for you to grab for the month of June. That's Essentialism, Atomic Habits, and Deep Work. Those are the 3 books I recommend. You can get those in the description box below if you want to click on over to Amazon. You can also get those on Audibles if you are like me and like to auditory learn. And then we also have the thinkmediatools.com. If you are wondering, what software are you guys using right now? And how are you able to do this live stream like this on YouTube and show your slides? And if you're wondering I need an editor, or how do I do thumbnails, or what are some other time management tools you guys use here at Think Marketing, this is the place for you. You can go to thinkmediatools.com and that will help you navigate through all of the tools that we use and recommend here at Think Marketing and at Think Media. Well, I am excited because I have Melissa Caputo on with me today, and we are going to be jumping into your Q&A. We're going to be jumping into the Q&A that you have right now. Melissa, how are you doing?
I am doing great, Heather. I think it's so, every time we talk about time management, and you guys, this is one of Heather's favorite topics because she is the one that pioneers on our team trying to get everybody organized and everybody focused on their tasks and getting stuff done. She has to wrangle all of us. So if anybody knows about time management, it is Heather Torres. And Heather has been teaching me time blocking for a while now. And I want to say it that way because this is not something that all of us are going to implement one day and then do perfectly from here on out. For me, it is really difficult. Even though Heather and I are on the more administrative side of things in the company and Think Media, and we're definitely more of the people who are doing like marketing and operations, like we both have that kind of creative brain still that we'll get really deep into whatever we're working on. And then sometimes like we just want to get lost in it. And that's the kind of state that I get into where then all of a sudden nothing on my calendar matters. And I'm like, oops, I was supposed to be moving like 3 different time blocks right now. So it's still something that is really challenging for me personally. And I just want to work. I don't want to do all this scheduling. I don't want to spend all this time marking off my calendar. But what Heather has been teaching me, what she has to keep teaching me, is that, it's when you put in that 10 minutes of work or that, hour of work on a Sunday or a Monday before you start your week, it sets yourself up for success for the rest of the week. It is worth the time to practice these things. And I was just talking with somebody in chat about the idea that like discipline is a muscle. And this is discipline. Making a calendar, a schedule, and then sticking to it is something you have to be disciplined to do, because most of us hit, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. or whatever that time is for you. And all of a sudden you're just like, I'm pretty tired. I'm just going to like look at my phone for a second. And then it's like an hour later and you've been completely zoned out and missed everything you're supposed to do. Not saying I do that, Heather. Just saying I know other people do that. But we have to be disciplined to stick to our schedules and to accomplish the tasks that we're needing to do. And discipline is a muscle. You have to work on it over time and you have to practice it. And so all of the stuff that Heather just mentioned, super practical tips we can all start implementing today, but give yourself grace. Just think about me. Think like Mel is working through this too. Mel doesn't want to do this either, and she's doing it today. And we can do that together as a process, because it is really important. You're going to see such a huge difference. I've seen such a huge difference from implementing the strategies that Heather has been teaching me over the last year. And so time blocking, Heather has a lot more tips, but time blocking is definitely one of the biggest ones that we are like pushing everybody on our team to do. So I just wanted to say from my perspective, Heather, that like what you're teaching is really, really valuable. But we have to have grace on ourselves.
Yeah, it's really important too, Mel. And I like that someone said in the chat, oh yeah, I tried time blocking once and it was really hard. Again, this, like Mel said, this is something to work at. But when you start to implement it as a regular habit in your lifestyle, you will start to see your projects move faster. You'll start to be able to start checking things off. I say to move your to-do list to your to-done list. It's so important that you start to recognize that you own your time and you get to choose what you want to do with it. And it's really important to remember that even if you try it once and you're like, that wasn't really fun. It's not like managing my time is not actually a fun thing. I only do it because the discipline of doing it has allowed me to see results in my life. This is something that we are not taught in schools. This is not something that is regularly taught. And so it doesn't feel fun. And the thing about time blocking that I think is really important that we know is that it doesn't mean that every week has to look the same or every month has to look the same. It's just that you are being intentional. Let's really look at that word. It's about being intentional with your time and in being intentional with where you are spending your energy throughout the day. If you have a 9 to 5 and you have to be there, that's great. Do your best in the 9 to 5, time block within that time. But what are you doing the other hours of the day? Are you filming videos? Are you recording your sales video? Are you for your course? Are you editing? Are you collaborating with brands? Like, what are you doing in those other hours? And by being intentional and being focused is where you'll start to see success. Well, I'm fired up, Mel. Do we have some questions coming in? This is the Q&A show. This is where we just drink some water and we just talk. And I'm just so grateful that you're here tonight for this live stream. But Mel, throw a question or two at me.
Yes. Okay, Heather, I know you are going to love this question because Heather is very passionate about this. We work really, really hard at Think Media. And if you are I see some VRA people in the chat and everything, you know that we're working really hard behind the scenes. But Ben Famous asks, how do you prioritize rest? And Heather's passionate about this because as hard as our team works, she makes us prioritize our rest as well. So Heather, can you give us some practical tips and some mindset tips for how you do that?
Definitely. And this is something I have had to work on for the last decade as an entrepreneur and growing into motherhood and all of the things. And it was something that I did not do well at first. It was something that I was like, oh, other people can operate on 4 hours a day. And I thought, so can I. But here's the thing. We're not in this for the next year or the next 2 years. This is a marathon. Like, we are here and we want to help people for the long haul, for the years to come. And your body needs rest. And I'm the type of person, let me know in the chat if you feel like this. I have a hard time shutting it off. Like I'm always thinking, I'm always doing. I feel guilty a lot of times when I'm resting. But I've had to really shift my mind in that part of doing this, part of being a creator is that you need to be in run seasons and in rest seasons. Now, our team just got out of an extremely hard run season. We ran a 7-day free YouTube influence challenge, and it was a run. We were sprinting, we were going. It was a lot of coffee. It was a lot of late nights and early mornings. But then right on the back of that was rest. It was, let's shorten our days. What needs to get done? How can we refocus where our priorities are? And I think this is a really big part of becoming successful. It's the understanding that if you're burning the candle at both ends, eventually it's going to burn out. Like if you're think about that. Burning the candle at both ends is an analogy that means the fuse is going in. You're burning at both ends. And then finally, poof, it's done. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for your family. Part of being able to recognize rest in your life is understanding that it is a requirement for living. You need to sleep. You need to reset your brain. You need to wake up focused. Being so burnt out and not able to actually focus isn't going to do anything for you or the people you're trying to serve. And I think it's really important that we recognize that sleep is important, that taking some time in nature is important, that getting up and moving our bodies, it's important to the beings that we are as humans. And so I really just want to encourage you that understanding that rest is important in your life and starting to implement that now is something that will help you as a habit as you grow successfully in your future. And again, I did not do this well. I remember the days where I was like crying to my husband thinking, how am I going to do all this? I'm so stressed out. I'm so overwhelmed. And really, it was like tired eyes rarely see a bright future. Go to sleep, get some sleep, and wake up in the morning and it will be different. Like to me, that's what I keep thinking. And so I just want to encourage you to be putting rest in. I sleep 8 hours a night, like minimum 8 hours every single night. There are some nights that I don't when I had little ones, and that was a whole nother thing. But for right now, in the season of life that I'm in, I rest 8 hours a night. And I do that because I have people depending on me. And my brain is an important muscle that needs to be worked. And so I want to make sure that I am up, that I am ready, that I'm vibrant, that I am here for the life that's given to me, because that is what is important. So I hope that really helps you. I understand rest is really hard, especially in our society right now, where we have these things attached to us all the time. And we have dark seasons in our family. We have electronic time. We have non-electronic time, because we want to be making sure that we are using our minds in other ways and that we are really just resting. We're turning it off and we're just resting. And I'm preaching to myself. I am preaching to myself, Mel, right now, because I have a week's vacation coming up. And I just told Mel yesterday, I was like, I'm kind of on vacation. And she's like, no. And having someone in your life that can help hold you accountable is a big deal, because I would work all the time because I love what I do. And you probably love what you do too. But there needs to be seasons of rest and run in your business and your life. What do you think, Mel? I'm preaching to myself, like I said.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. No, I have to tell Heather all the time that no, you're not allowed to work right now. Because like she said, she loves her job. And this is something that we all have to work on as people that are like extremely passionate about what we do. But yeah. I think Ben Famous's response to your answer, Heather, was, I never feel like I deserve to rest. He said, this is super helpful. I never feel like I deserve to rest. I have to work all the time to demonstrate my value and achieve my goals. But good rest is so important. Go ahead, Heather.
Oh, so good. Okay, so let's just break that down. And it was Ben, correct, Mel? Ben?
Yes.
Yeah. So Ben, here's what I want you to know. I am a woman of faith, and I want to just let you know this, that your worth is not in your work. Your worth is not in your work. You deserve rest. And just because other people are telling you, you need to work hard, you need to crush it, you need to hustle 18 hours a day, that's their life. And that might not be your life. And a lot of times when we're pulling in the I don't deserve rest, it's that feeling that, well, our worth is planted in the things that we do. And I want you to know your worth is not in your work. Your worth is in who you are as a human being. And so for me, rest is a part of the gift of being alive. Hear me. It's a we can use our bodies, that we can use our brains, that we can use our hands, that we can use our creativity. But at the same time, we are given the gift of rest. And so if you're feeling like your worth is attached to your work, I want to just encourage you to dive into that, to really seek out why you have that connection and understand. I'm here to tell you that it is not tied to your work. Your worth is in the being that you are. That is not a point that for me, that is like a line drawn in the sand, that whether I produce work or whether I do the work or whether I hustle my face off is not going to depend on if I deserve the rest, because my body needs it. It is a part of our bodies. We need water, we need food, and we need sleep. We need rest. We need recharge. That is a part of the human process. And so I want to encourage you, and I really, really want you to lean into resting. It's a big deal. And I want you to just take some time and practice. What does that look like for you? And I want you to be thinking about the voices that are in your head. Are people telling you you have to hustle? You won't hear that message from me. I think you should be working hard, but resting hard too. I think it's important to know the season of life that you're in and know that you may have, like I do, 3 kids at home, and you can't work 15 hours a day. I can't work as much as Mel would want to work. She doesn't have the 3 kids and all the things happening that I do. So we're in a different season of life. So it may look different for you, but I just want to reiterate that one more time. You deserve rest. You deserve to rest your body and your mind. And your worth is not tied to your work.
I knew that one was going to get you, Heather, because Heather and I actually just had this conversation. It was like, I don't even know when it was. Time moves so.
What time is it? What day is it? Yeah.
I think it was last week. But I admitted to Heather that this is like something I struggle with as well. And the reason that I will work, early morning to late at night every day, every week is actually, honestly, that's a reflection a lot of times of when I'm in a bad mental space, because I'm not, intentional. And like Heather mentioned that word earlier, she's saying that we have to be intentional with our time. And so what I wind up doing is, when I'm not in like a great space, like I said, and like my more unhealthy seasons is like I'll wind up working super late at night, but I'm working at like a half capacity or like 1/3 capacity. And I'm just, trying to eke out whatever I can do, or I'm avoiding other things. Like, this is getting deep here, but this is real. And like, this is true. Like, that's what I do. I will avoid other stuff because I see like my value in my work. Just like you were saying, Ben, my worth is in my work. And so I realized that I was actually, this is something I'm constantly realizing and struggling with, but like, if I'm working at half capacity for 6 hours, like actually it's so much better if I had just gone to bed and gone up an hour earlier and worked really hard and actually worked at like 90% capacity instead, and busted out the same amount of work in an hour and had given myself a chance, my brain a chance to take a rest, my body a chance to rest, and just a chance to your brain to wander. Neurological research shows the importance of letting your brain wander. And if we are constantly just focusing on, whatever we're working on. So say like if you are a sports YouTuber and you are reporting on soccer, and all day, every day, all you're doing is consuming soccer content from, the 6 a.m. or maybe you have a real job, but from the time that you get off work until, real job, sorry. That's a bad habit of saying that. Maybe you have a 9 to 5 other job. And then, from all your spare time, all you're ever doing is thinking about soccer and your channel and optimizing it. Then actually what happens is, we lose a little bit of our creativity, and our brain craves and our brain needs some diversity, and our brain needs time to just relax, to sit outside, go on a hike, go, lay in bed, don't consume things, don't just watch TV and veg out, but like give your brain a chance to just wander and just think about things. We all need that. And we often are stuffing our brains constantly full of content. and constantly full of other things. And oftentimes it's a distraction that we're intentionally doing because we don't want to deal with whatever we're feeling or whatever is going on in our life. But we need to give our brains time to wander and rest. It is very, very proven. I won't say proven, it's not for sure, but it's demonstrated in research, like I said, neurological research, that time is necessary. And so when Heather says rest, it's about sleeping, but it's also about giving our brain that chance to just, and that's when your creative thoughts are going to spark. That's why people say like your best ideas come when you're in the shower, is because you're not consuming content and you're not just watching something else and watching somebody else create or reading that latest article that has to do with your topic. Like that's when those creative gears start actually turning, is when you actually are giving yourself a chance. So that's like my little tangent, but this has been because obviously this is something Heather and I both deal with on a regular basis. And, all of this fits into time management because that's, Heather forces us to block time that we are taking off and that we're resting, because she tries to.
I was going to say, or I try to actually. And it really is just a labor of love to our team, but just to people in my life, because it's so good to be intentional. I love being intentional. All right, Mel, any other questions coming in tonight that we should answer for the Think Marketing Show? You can drop the questions in the chat, or if you're watching on the replay, you can leave your questions in the comment section. We talked about our 3 apps that we love and 3 tips for time management.
Yes. Okay. So we had another question, and it's kind of similar to Ben's, but I think you'll have a few more tips on it, Heather. And it is about being really tired. So what happens if after work, you need to work on your channel or on your business, but you are exhausted? How do you get yourself motivated to keep working?
Yeah. Wow. What a really great question. And I would start by really analyzing when the best time for you to work on your channel is. For me, working on my channel would not be after my full-time job. That would not be great because my brain's already done from all the creative work that I currently am doing. And so for me, the best time for me to work on my channel is actually early mornings and on the weekends. Those are to me are the best times because my mind is fresh. I have all these ideas. I'm ready to get to it. And so when you're feeling really tired, here's a couple things. One, this is like, you're like, where is she going with this? You need to drink water. Let's start there. Like a lot of times we get really, really tired because we're actually not consuming enough water that can help our brains to help us stay focused. So number 1, make sure you're drinking water. Number 2, figure out what time of day works best for you. Now, again, I don't sacrifice sleep. I go to bed early so I can wake up early because I tend to do a lot better early in the morning. So what time works best for you? So number 1, are you getting enough water? Number 2, are you tired? And number 3, when you're scheduling, be scheduling your things in batches. So for me, if I'm going to be recording videos, I will use a Saturday morning, let's say, or Sunday afternoon sometimes, but mostly on Saturday mornings. And that's when I'll do a batch recording, and I'll record 3 to 4 videos when I'm doing that. And I do that because if I only have that one day to get that actual intentional work of filming in, I want to do it when I'm at my best, when the kids are out of the house, when I've got good lighting, when I'm already dressed with makeup on and all the things. So I want to be planned. So I'll use my week to plan or different days of the week to plan. And then I'll do my videos. And then I'll take the early mornings to get up with a cup of coffee and get my editing done. So I like to do that. And I've done it before where I've had to do it at night and crush it until, 10 or 11 so that I could get that editing done. I don't do my best work during that time. And so I know that I get my best work done in the morning. So before I come to Think Media, before I do what I'm doing here, I will work intentionally on the projects that I want to move forward. So that's what I would say if you're feeling tired. And again, everything in seasons. Everyone's at a different level. Everyone's starting at a different level. Everyone is working through different things in their life. And so don't compare where you are to where someone else is. So if you're like, I'm just feeling so tired, take a day off. Take a weekend. It's okay. It'll be there when you get back. But if you are feeling like, I just can't get this done at night when I'm home because I'm already tired and all of the things, then can you go to bed? Not can I stay up and watch Netflix until midnight or 1 o'clock? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, can you go to bed early And can you wake up early so you can be focused on those projects in the morning? I hope that helps you. That's been some things that have worked for me. Mel, I know you try and crush it at night too, but again, like you said, it's like you're working at half capacity. So it's better to just wake up in the morning with a fresh brain, go to bed early, right, Mel? That's another thing. People will always move that little line. They're like, well, I'm still tired. Well, you're going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed at 8:30 almost every night. And the nights that I'm up late, I'm like, who am I? I am a zombie when I wake up because I just can't go that fast.
Yeah, I actually have a thought on this too, because something that I do have, Heather and I both have side channels. Most of the people in the company do. And, we were just talking about the kind of pace that we run at Think Media, and yet we have our side businesses that we each work on. And, we want to practice what we teach in multiple ways. We practice it on Think Media, but we also practice it on our own channels. And so what I found is something that helps me is I will pick like a small task that I can do after work on that day. And so, yes, I'm not going to be trying to probably record a full video or, do all that creative thinking like Heather mentioned after a long day, because that is really tough. But I'll try to do like pick some task I can do. And what it does is, again, we're like talking about working out our muscles. And so I'm actually like expanding my capacity. And when I, get off work at 5 p.m., say, you're a normal person, you might get off at 5 p.m. I don't know when everyone gets off work, but you get off at that time, and then you go home and you just want to collapse and you just want to binge TV for a couple hours. Maybe you have kids, like everyone has different situations, but if that is you, if you are somebody who, generally just feels like you're really low energy and that's what you gravitate towards binging on your phone or binging on Netflix or something like that, try just setting yourself a small manageable goal and get one thing done. Like maybe it's like do a little bit of research, something that doesn't take tons of effort, doesn't take tons of brain energy, but you can at least get something off of your list and just do it for like half an hour or an hour, and then give yourself time to do whatever else you need, your rest and everything. But for me, I have found that giving myself those small manageable tasks to do throughout the week actually helps me. Like I said, it kind of expands my capacity and my ability to work a little bit longer, on my side channel. And we know we're talking about rest, so there's all a balance. But depending what season you're in, as Heather mentioned, where you are, if you're that person who identifies with like, I just crash and I just lay on the couch, this is a way that maybe you can, work on getting that energy up and everything after work in a day.
Yep. And I recognize that there's tasks in my life that are what we call high energy and low energy tasks. So I want to put the high energy tasks when I'm at my best. That's really what I want to do. I want to put my low energy tasks like answering the comments on YouTube and social media. I don't have to necessarily be on my top game in terms of the energy output that I need to do. And someone said, what about your food? I won't go to like crazy things here, but we consider the job that we do as professionals important, and the nutrition that we have is just as important. Well, just as, and I'm not comparing myself to Kobe Bryant, but just as Kobe Bryant exercises, eats well, because his body is his profession, so is mine. The level of output that I'm putting out to the world is important. Like me having energy right now on this live at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday is important. At 5 p.m. on a Tuesday is important. And so I need to make sure that I'm dialed in with making sure I'm putting good things in so that at the same time I would have good energy. If I ate crappy food, which I've done in my life. When I've eaten crappy foods, I don't feel energized to want to do it. When I don't exercise, I don't feel energized to want to put outputs out into the world. So yeah, that is a big part of it too. And I love that we're seeing this correlation between time management and the effects that it has on our bodies and our minds and our spirits. And it's just really wonderful to be part of the Think Marketing community, where you are all about R&R as well. All right, Mel, let's answer a couple more questions and then we will sign off for the night.
Yeah. So Learning in Technology is wondering if Cheetos and Red Bulls are not your recommended diet then, Heather? Or yes,
no, actually, Cheetos and Red Bull totally. I mean, works for me. No, I mean, you do you, boo. That's a big one. But I mean, yeah, I've definitely had the seasons of crushing the Red Bulls or drinking too much coffee. Actually, from our 7-day YouTube challenge, I
Yeah.
drank so much coffee that the whole next week after, I had headaches in the afternoon because I was drinking 3 cups to keep myself going throughout the whole day. And the next week I had caffeine crash because
Mhm.
my body was re-regulating. I had to do way more water just to re-regulate it back to normal. And I mean, I'm not recommending, I'm not a doctor, I'm not prescribing those things for you. And I'm just saying that Cheetos and Red Bull might not be the most nourishing things to your body or your mind.
All right. This is such a great question. And Heather, I know that you are also going to have a power answer for this. Elba, I am setting that bar high, but
I know. It's like, wow, Mel, power answer? Come on. It's
power
marketing.
answer.
Mel's like really setting me up right now. A power answer. Okay.
That'd be good. No, because this is something that I know you have to work with every day. So Elba is asking, how do you deal with unplanned or unexpected interruptions? Specifically maybe with children. And I know you have a dog, and we have a lot of other things going on in our life. So how do you deal with those interruptions?
Okay, so I have a couple things for you, Alba. Mel, was it specific about kids? Because I do have something specific
Yeah.
about kids. Did it say that? Okay, here we go. All right, Alba. So here's a couple things. One, in my home, in our home, our words matter. And so we actually want to set our kids up for success, meaning that like right now I'm on a live stream. They are doing something that is planned that they know they can do. We've set the expectations and the rules within what that looks like. Now, for our family, words matter. And so we don't want our kids to feel like a burden or feel we don't want to get upset with them. We want to instruct them of how to have good self-control. So you're like, okay, I thought we were talking about time management. Heather's giving parenting tips. Hear me. So your words matter. So when your kids come at you and they're like, oh, mommy, and you're like, oh, you're so annoying, they hear that. I know they hear that. So my advice to you is to take a breath and understand what is the distraction at hand. Is it that your kiddos, they just actually need you? And what is more important in that time? If my kids came to me right now and they're like, Mom, I need you, Mom, I need you, I would kindly mute my mic and I would be like, with a smile on my face, Mommy's busy right now, but I will get to you right after I'm done. Like I have certain things that I will say to them so that they know what that looks like. And I have had toddlers around me while filming and all of those things. I've had that life. So I understand that you're like, oh, I'm being so distracted. It's an expectations thing. So how high are your expectations? And if you have kids and dogs and things around you, say when you're filming, what's the expectation in that time frame? So I hope that helped you with that part of it. But distractions throughout the day. This is my whole day. I feel like I'm just putting out fires all day long, and sometimes it can be very distracting. Oh my gosh, got that one out. It can be very distracting. It is communicating with the people in your life. Also, what are you allowing to distract you? So someone sending you a text message, that's a distraction that you have allowed to be in your time block. You've allowed that to be intentionally in your time block. I don't have my text message on right now. I don't have my phone on me. It's off to the side. So I'm not going to intentionally be distracted. So that is like an outward distraction coming in. Then there are like actual real things like, oh my gosh, the kid just broke his arm. We need to go to the hospital. Okay, well, then we stop what we're doing and we put our focus on that new thing. If you're working on a team or you're working with your spouse or you're working with other people, communicating what you're doing, when you're doing it, where you are in the project in some capacity will cut down on a lot of the distractions. So if you need to write the emails for your email sequence, you need to calendar block that and then communicate. This is dark writing time. I am unavailable during these times. Like, I don't know if you remember way, way, way back in the day, like when our parents did not have cell phones. Okay. When they didn't have cell phones, they could literally just be sitting around doing whatever they wanted until the actual phone rang, that you had the choice if you wanted to answer or not. Like we have allowed so many distractions to be a part of our lives. So just try and set up your time, communicate it wisely, and watch your words. That's what I would say in what that looks like for you. And it's always a learning process. And I think a big part of it is the level of expectation. I remember we were on a 7-day challenge a few weeks ago. It was like live number 43. I don't know. We were live so many times. and my dog got out of his little pen and he was running around in here. And then my kid ran behind him, and I'm like live teaching like I am right now. And there's like chaos happening behind me. And I'm like, well, this is my life. This is where we are. And I just kind of laughed it off because it's also just real life. I mean, really at the same time, like we are so blessed that you get to do what you do and we get to do what we do, and that we get to serve people and we get to make videos and we get to help people and we get to be a part of communities and we get to do all those things. That is a blessing. So if you're in the Think Media, Think Marketing community, I would hope that you would see that the level of expectation that you have for the people and the things around you are that you're, well, number one, setting expectations for what's important, but number two, you're having grace for the things that happen in your life. All right, I could go on that one, Mel, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's great, Heather. I think digging down into the core issues of what some of these questions unveil is so important. And it might seem like, come on, I just want to know, how to, make all those distractions stop. Unfortunately, that we don't have an answer for that. That's not going to happen. Heather is basically a superhero, but she cannot stop all the distractions from coming in. And if you were on the challenge, you know what we're talking about. Well, that was a big recurring theme. And, we just have to really tackle like those hard issues and everything that comes up so that we, like Heather mentioned, have the patience, we have priorities, and we can find that some peace as we're dealing with all those issues that are going to naturally come up. So we have another question that says, this is from Journey to Wellness. Can time blocking work when working a full-time job with inconsistent hours? I start work around the same time, but the time I leave can differ by 1 to 5 hours.
Ooh. Yeah. So I actually, when I time block, and what I recommend that you try and do is I don't time block day by day.
Oh, Heather, I think you're muted. Sorry,
that's how you change the world. Okay. So that's an inside joke. Sorry. Okay. So if you are time blocking, let me go back. If you are time blocking, and I time block throughout the week. So before the week even starts, I time block what the next week is going to be. That sets my intention for the next week. It allows me to pre-plan the projects. It allows me to think through what is going to be happening. What is this going to look like? How am I going to feel? How do I want to show up for the world? Those are all things that I intentionally do. I'm just telling you to time block. You don't have to do all that, but that is where this is going to go in how we use our time wisely. And so I time block through the week. So if you know that on Monday you leave at 1, and on Wednesday you leave at 7, and on Friday you leave at 2, those time blocks, your 9 to 5, should be blocked in there. And then you have the time in the morning, and then you have the time after that, and then you have the time on the weekends. And so, or on the weekdays, depending on what your working schedule is. So really be intentional about what am I doing around those times. When I'm driving home, am I listening to a course that I purchased? Am I listening to a podcast, or am I just listening to music because I need to unwind? Like, what are you doing during your commute? Not that we have commutes at this very moment, but if you have one, like, what are you doing during that time? When you get home, what do you want to do? How do you want to be when you get home? Do you want to use the evening to do some research? When you're doing research, what's your time limit? Like, I set everything around the time, because you can get lost in saying, well, I'm going to research on how to do X, Y, and Z. Well, how many videos are you going to watch? Like, I intentionally think about all these things, and it seems very micromanaged, but it's so intentional because it allows me to make sure that my energy is really focused on what I'm trying to accomplish. So when you're doing time blocking, first start with the big rocks. That's what you want to start with. What's your big rock? So if your big rock, number one, is that you work a regular 9 to 1 or 9 to 5 or 10 to 4, or whatever that looks like for you, for your employer, then put those big rocks on there. But then be thinking about, what are the other rocks around there? Do you need exercise? When are you going to do that? When are you going to shower after that? Like, these are things I think about when I'm thinking about that. For me, you'll notice on my time block, family time was huge. That was huge for me because I have little ones and I value the time that I get to spend with them. So I'm going to make sure that I'm working twice as hard within the work blocks so that I can be intentional about the time that I have in my family time. So I'd hope that helps you when you think about what it looks like to be time blocking. But we time block at a week per time, like intentional time blocking at a week time, because every week can look different, but that's the best way to do that. Start with your big rocks first and then start filling them in. But I recommend that when you're time blocking, that you don't have more than like 5 main blocks, like 5 main things that are on your calendar. You can have little things here and there, like I got to go to the dentist. I need to do my taxes. Like you can add that stuff on there, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're intentional about what the big rocks are on your time block.
Yeah. And so if you are somebody that has like a flexible schedule, or you work a lot of overtime, like Journey to Wellness is mentioning, that's why, I'm not sure if Heather said this, but that's why we love doing digital calendars. You
Yes.
just move the block. So if you have blocked all this time, but then you wind up getting home 2 hours later, you just move the block around and you just have to find work. So if you're truly blocking the most important things, that might just be the way that your life is, and you can't control that. And so you're just going to have to bump it around. That's what I do, because this job oftentimes will have a lot of things that come up that I can't necessarily control. So, okay, I can't do that today now. It has to move to, 2 days later. And yes, it might bump my schedule, but that's just what I have to do right now. So Journey to Wellness was giving some follow-up details on his question. So just wanted to mention that as well.
Yep.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Heather.
I was to say, yeah, digital. That is the reason we love digital, because I remember doing it really pretty. Like I love pretty journals. I really wish I could do a pretty journal, but I think life is beyond the prettiness, right? Like life gets messy. And so in order to keep that organized, to keep the chaos organized, digital helps, because you can have it, but you can share it with other people. I think that's a big part of it too, is that I don't just have access to my calendar. My kids have access. My husband has access. All my team has access, because I need them to see where I have put my intention in what I want to be working on. And I love that digital can be moved around. It can be mobile. It's not like you have to carry around a calendar in your purse. If you have a purse, it's its own piece that you can work off of.
Yeah, and Veggie Vixen was asking, do you have a specific app or just a calendar app that uses a time block? We just use Google Calendar. It's easy. Most of us, so many of us have a Gmail account. It's free and it's so accessible. So like Heather was just mentioning with sharing it to people, since so many people have Gmail already in Google Calendar, it's so easy to share it and it's really accessible. There's a lot of features. Somebody was asking about all Heather's different colors on her calendar. So it's all easy to color coordinate. You just, if you've already put in all your events, you right click on the event, go in and change the color of it, and you can pick custom colors. So all of those features are really easily available, and we love a free app. So
yeah, and let me tell you, I have tried like almost all the calendars that are on the market, like calendar apps that are on the market, because I was like, oh, well, I should integrate my grocery list with my calendar. And, like I should do all these things. And I think Mel just hit it right on the head. Like Google Calendar is so good because it's free and because majority of people have some type of Google access. And we will have more Google Calendar tutorials coming soon here on the Think Marketing Show. So we'll be walking through how to set it up, how to use it properly, all of the hacks and tips that you can have with that. But I think colors are great because it allows your brain to, right, Mel? I know it's a brain thing, but it allows your brain to separate those things rather than it all being just like one color block of your things. Color. I didn't know how to end that.
Yeah, and I think this next question actually flows really naturally out of what we were just talking about, and because it's the idea of it being so frustrating when you don't accomplish what was on your calendar or what your time blocking was or what was on your to-do list. Like, how do you deal with that? And I just want to say, like, from my perspective, that really quickly, this is something I really struggle with, because honestly, as soon as my calendar is off or my to-do list is off, I just want to throw it all. I don't want to look at it. I throw it all out the window and it's all done. That is my natural inclination. Clearly not the right way to handle it. And again, so this is like my practical tip, and then I'll let Heather speak to this, but my practical tip is move it. Oh, I didn't get that done today. I'm moving it to tomorrow. I have I have like a notebook that I write down my personal to-dos for every day. So it's like my laundry, my grocery list, whatever. If it didn't get done, I move it to the next day. And that's just how we do it. We just have to move things, because as Heather was just mentioning, it is real life and that is going to happen. And I'm very sorry to tell you, you are not going to get everything on your to-do list done every day. I mean, not to put that on you, but I want to prepare you. If you're in this, in this industry, in this creative industry, in this crazy world of YouTube, you're going to have so many things that come up that you need to get done. And so just be prepared to move things over. Digital, move it over.
Yeah. I mean, let's even take today as an example. Like, this is real life. We couldn't figure out, this stream was not connecting. It was supposed to start at 4. It ended up starting at like, I don't know what time, 4:20, 4:30. I don't know what time 5. I don't even know what time it started, but we had to like tear it down and rebuild it. And I was getting frustrated. And then I was like, you know what? It's okay. Like, this is okay. It's okay that we're late. We're still doing this. The things I have that I'm supposed to be doing later, we'll just move those to another day. And it's all in how you handle it. It's all in how you are receiving it or letting it go. Actually, it's not even receiving it, it's letting it go. Because real life is real life. And, they're like, I would hope that my to-do list is never done. I would hope that. And the reason is because I always want to be working on something. I always want to have a new project. I always want to be excited about something. I always want to organize my kitchen, or I always want to have something new and fun to be working on and excited about, because guys, life is worth living. Like, this is okay. And I think because we've just been taught that we need to finish the list, we need to check all the boxes, we need to do all the things, I would ask you to think about, where does that come from? And are you okay with feeling disappointed in the things you didn't get done in the day versus rewarding yourself for the things that you did get done? Like, think about the things you did accomplish today. We launched a new course today. And so to be mad at myself because the things I have later on today need to move to tomorrow would be discrediting the work and effort that it took to do the other things. And so I just want to implore you to really be unraveling, where are those feelings coming from? And are you only focusing on the things you didn't do today? And are you not even recognizing the good that you did? I mean, maybe today all you did was call your mom. Maybe that's actually what needed to happen. Like, maybe today all you did was write the email. Reward yourself. You did it. And so the things you have to do tomorrow can move to tomorrow. They can move to next week. They can move to 3 weeks from now. Your life is worth living, and it's worth celebrating, and it's worth achieving small goals to get to the big things. And we're on a journey. It's not like I'm going to finish my to-do list and then sit there and be like, well, now what do I do? Like, I hope it is forever running, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to create. We're here to serve. We're here to try new things and fail on some projects and win at some projects and push things around. And it's all a challenge, but it's all in how you see it.
Yep. So good. That's something, again, that Heather is just coaching me on a regular basis, because I feel you. I really feel that question a lot. And I'm saying, like, just move it over and like acting like I have an answer. But no, I really struggle with that. And like I said, my natural inclination, if I don't get something done, my to-do list, it gets it's like messed up in my head. I'm like, okay, this is all out the window. But it is really coming down to, it's a mindset change in ourselves, like Heather is talking to us about. And so I hope that you guys are getting value out of this. And I hope that, we're all able to really internalize the encouragement that Heather is giving us. Let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking. And we're going to actually finish things out strong with just a couple power questions. Heather, you ready to? I say
power questions. Yeah.
I say power questions when really what I mean is we're going to do a lightning round of just trying to answer the last few questions here, so then we can jump off and Heather can get some dinner and finish some work for today, right? Woo! Heather, we got a lot going on today. So if you guys want to keep connecting with us, keep asking us questions about this topic, then I just wanted to let you know a few different places where we are available for you. So on this Think Marketing channel, we have the community tab for you guys, where we are going to ask you a question. We're going to let you know, like, hey, what questions did you have about today's stream? And then we're going to be popping in there and trying to answer some more of your questions. Now, we won't be able to answer all of them, but the amazing part about social media is the rest of the community is there to also help answer your questions. And we have amazing people in this community. We have business owners, we have other just top-notch, powerful creators. And so they will also be in the comments, and we'll all be able to chat together if you want to keep going deeper on this topic. We also have social media. So we have Heather on Instagram. She's at Miss Heather Torres, Mrs. Heather Torres, sorry. Mrs.
I don't
Heather
know if
Torres.
it's it's MRS. So is that Miss or Mrs.? I don't even know what the real thing is. I'm married. That's all I know, Mel.
So you can find Heather on Instagram at Mrs. Heather Torres, and also Sean Cannell on Instagram. And so we just love to connect with you guys there, because we have more opportunities as we are making posts and we're engaging in these questions. We want to keep these conversations going. This isn't a one and done. This isn't like, okay, good, we've got time management checked off our list. This is something we want to grow with you guys in, and we want to hear about your progress. So always shout us out, tag Heather, tag Sean, so we can see your time blocking calendar, take a picture and let us know, because we want to be able to celebrate that progress with you guys. But all right, we're going to finish off with a couple questions. Heather, Athlete Remedy is asking, what's a good percentage of working on your IPAs? So what's an IPA, Heather? First explain it to us. What's a good percentage of working on your IPAs, your income producing activities, versus just the work that needs to go into your channel? And what's so I think Athlete Remedy is asking about IPAs in your business. Mm-hmm. So in the business side of things versus like creating content for your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So an IPA is an income producing activity, which means it is something that's actually going to move the dollar sign in your bank account. That's the best way to move it. Like, did you land the client? Did you get the brand deal? Did you send the emails to your webinar so that you can get people inside of your membership program? Like, that is an IPA. That's an income producing activity. So what is the percentage that you should be working on your IPAs versus the normal work? Well, my goal is to work on an IPA a day. At least one IPA a day, because depending on what that looks like in your role and in what you're doing, that could look different for everyone. So to give you a proper percentage wouldn't actually justify the whole question. So I would say start with one. Get it done by one. That's my thing. Always done by one. So what can you get done first thing in the morning? What can you get done first? There's a book called Eat That Frog. I think everyone should read it. It's about doing the hard things that you don't want to do that you actually have to do. Usually those are the things we like to push off. We like to do all the other things that we don't actually need to do. So my recommendation for you is to work on at least one income producing activity a day. Read the book, Eat That Frog, and then work on getting things done by one. If your day ended at one and all you had was the rest of the afternoon to go surfing or to go hang out with your kids or go on a hike with your dogs, if everything was done by one, what has to get done in your business? Because a lot of things are good to-dos, but they're not have-to-dos.
Awesome. Okay.
That was lightning, Mel. Are you proud of me? That was a lightning question.
That was pretty good. Now, the real challenge is going to be going through this next question as a lightning question, because I know that we both could speak to this quite a lot. But this is not actually even a question. So this is unsolicited advice. I'm sorry, Social Life. But I wanted to speak to this a little bit because Social Life was saying, it's just really hard with all the different things going on, and it's frustrating trying to balance everything. They have like a full-time job, and this is not to call you out at all, because I'm not sure what exactly you do have going on, but I think that this sentiment is very, very common. And we talk to so many YouTubers on a daily basis. And this statement right here, that once I have more time, I'll be able to grow my channel better. And again, I'm not calling you out, because again, I don't know. It is true. That statement is true. But we talk to so many YouTubers, and this is such a recurring theme. Someday I'll have enough time. I'll be able to get into my channel. I'll be able to really pour the time into doing this right. Heather, debunk the statement. Give us some thoughts on that.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Lightning round. Here we go. Lightning round. Okay. So, when I have time, one day when I have time, then I'll, that is a really dangerous statement, because as you grow, as your YouTube channel grows, as your influence grows, as your business grows, you're always going to be set up with new problems to solve. And unless you can get a grip on how you currently handle your time, it's going to feel the same as it grows. I don't have enough time now. You actually won't have enough time then, because time is so relative to how you are using it. And so when you say, and I feel you, I know what this, I'm always like, So I catch myself. When we have another team member, when we're done with this thing, when we get another editor, when those things happen, I'll have more time to X, Y, and Z. And it actually is just a cover up for me not actually figuring out what is the actual problem. What am I working on that's not actually producing anything? It's the 80-20 rule. 80% of your time should be worked, should be within the blocks that produce 20% of the outcomes. 80% of your time should be working on what produces, 80% of your time, what produces the most amount of your income. That's like the best way to say it. So like when you look at like 80-20, 80% of what you're doing is usually producing 20%. I'm saying it all backwards because I don't have the visual in front of me. I'm flipping it. Okay. Rewind. This is Heather in real life. Rewind. Okay. What you are spending your most time on needs to be producing the most. Okay. So usually 80% of what you're working on isn't actually producing anything. Like it's not actually moving the needle. 20% is actually producing 80% of the outcome. It's called the 80-20 rule. You should look it up, 80-20 rule. So when you are thinking about, I just don't feel like I have enough time, I want you to take the challenge this week to write down every single hour what you worked on. I know it sounds tedious and crazy, but I guarantee you that by the end of the week, you will have things on that list that you will look at and go, well, that was a waste of time. And I want you to circle what was a waste of time. And then I want you to go the next week and do it again and see, did you have less things that were a waste of time? Because no matter what, whether it's right now, whether it's in 1 year, whether it's in 10 years, the time that you have in the day is all that you have, the 24 hours. So right now, the first thing to do is figuring out, how are you wasting time? How can you increase the profits so that you can do the next thing, which is buy time? How do you buy time? With people. So how do I get it all done in a day? I don't do it by myself. I don't clean my house. I don't shop. I don't do the groceries. I don't do those things. I have purchased time. Other people do those things because for me, I would rather not go to Starbucks. I would rather buy all my things at clearance at Target so that I could use that money to buy the time that I would be going to do things that I feel personally for my own life. No judgment to you. You might like this, but no judgment to you. The things that I do in my life that I feel are a circled waste of time. Make sense? So then I use that time to do an IPA, an income producing activity. I use that time to spend time with my kids. Are you seeing this? So if you're feeling like I don't have enough time, or one day when I can do this, I'll have enough time, it's a mindset. It's 24 hours. It's a mindset. So right now you may not like the job that you're in and you want to shift to being able to do this full time. It's still going to be full time. Doing this as a job is like trading in your 9 to 5 for a 5 to 9. Okay. Because it's then always on your mind. You don't leave the work. It's not like your regular job. So I just want you to take the challenge. Everyone this week, take the challenge to write down every single hour. What did you do? And then at the end of the week, look at it. And what was a waste of time? And then can you afford to start buying time? Those would be my things. And that was lightning round, Mel. I did it so lightning. That was lightning.
That was good because we could talk about that concept for a long time. It is a big deal. And so many people in the chat were saying, this is the tip. This is a knowledge bomb, purposeful mindset. And I want you guys to let us know in the comments what your aha moment was from today's session. We talked about a lot of different aspects of time management here, and I'm seeing some aha moments in the chat right now. And it's really cool to me to see that here on a Think Marketing podcast or Think Marketing show.
No, this is the show, Mel. This is the show.
Yeah. We were just talking about this today on the Think Marketing show on YouTube, talking about, starting out this video talking about Google Calendar, and we can end with Heather really honing in on that mindset shift that most of us are going to need to take in order to be successful on YouTube. This journey of being on YouTube is about more than just, trying to crank out a video. You guys have a purpose. And I know so many of you guys in the chat right now have a message that you need to share with the world. You have something that is going to help people. And you have so much in you to share and to bless other people. And so these kinds of tips and everything that Heather was sharing today are what is going to empower you to bring that knowledge to other people. And so when you have a purpose-driven mindset, when you have a goal in mind and you have something that is driving you, you'll overcome the challenges. I know it can seem really hard. A lot of people in the chat tonight were talking about the various things that they have going on in their life that make it really hard to be committed to this and to be putting the time into this. And so we know, and we're here for you through those things, because we know those things are real and they're serious. And as Heather mentioned, this might not be the season where you're going to put 10 hours a week into YouTube. That's okay. But ultimately, it's about keeping that long-term eye on the prize. You're looking towards that goal. And again, just as Heather was mentioning, it's that purpose-driven mindset. You are here for a reason. There is a bigger legacy that you're going to be leaving online for your family, for your children. You have a legacy to leave. And so I am just so grateful to have been able to spend this time with you guys today and seeing everybody's different situations in the chat. And I hope that you guys are here for the long haul with us. So as we mentioned, there's going to be that post on the community tab, and let us know what your stories are, what you're struggling with time management. And we want to be there to help you guys out. Heather, can you land the plane for us?
Yes, I love this. I love the new mantra, 1 IPA a day. Exactly. That's what I want you to be working on. I love that, 1 IPA a day. I didn't even know I said that, but that is definitely what I work on. I mean, like, that's what I do. So thank you for drawing that out of me. I love these questions because they help me with that. Hey, you can catch the Think Marketing podcast every single Tuesday. We drop it here on the YouTube channel, as well as anywhere that you can listen to iTunes, or no, that you can listen to podcasts like iTunes and Spotify, and anywhere podcasts are audible. So you can listen to that. And today's episode just dropped this morning, and it was all about our content, our Think Media content. Should we break down how we create videos? Like, what do we actually say in the videos, why it's important, and the order of things that need to happen, and the mistakes that we see so many creators making. So if you did not listen or watch that episode, you can watch that one right now after this show. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.